When you're homesteading, things are a little bit different than on a commercial-based farm, because on a commercial-based farm, you really have to think of that bottom line, because it's money, it's your income, it's your livelihood. So things are a little bit different, and those conditions do go away a lot on your homestead, because the expectation is really that you're going to live your life to the fullest. You might make a little bit of money, but are you supporting you and your family and passing it down through generations? No. That would be the divide of a farm and a homestead. So let's talk about our number one problem here right now. So you might have seen a few of the reels and videos of Zebra, our ram lamb. So he was raised here. He grew up. Now, his story starts out with, he was our firstborn lamb on site. So we bought the ewes that were already bred. So he was born here. When he was born a male, I wasn't going to keep him. So I did not socialize with him. I didn't love him. I named him, but that's it. Because the expectation was two things. Either I was going to be selling him, or we were going to raise him for market and just give that a try. Because then we would know how the animal was treated, how they lived, how happy they were, and whatnot. And then we would get to feed ourselves off of that. Now, fast forward to now. He was determined to make himself be part of the family. And so when he was part of the family, basically, I kept him, I got attached. He was super sweet. And you might have seen those videos, the reels, with his tail wagging, and he's like coming up for affection, and he really is just super loving. Here lies the problem. He is super loving to me. There are a few videos, of course, where we see him go to Dean for attention, and then when Dean stops paying attention, he gives him a little nudge. Well, that nudge has actually escalated a bit to a more aggressive boop, shall we say, to the point where now where we're at is if Dean does come into the field, I have to be alert of where Zebra is at all times, because he will, without fail now, go after Dean and ram him. And the force behind that ram or boop is rising. And so rams can actually really, really injure you. Their power is there. It can be scary. So you have to always respect nature. And respect the damage that he can do to you, depending on where he gets you. And sometimes it's not even where he gets you, but it's where you land. So he has knocked Dean off his feet a few times now. He is getting a little stealthy, where you don't see him coming, and then all of a sudden he hits you from behind. And then there was someone here in the field, and he got a little amped up there with that as well. Is also a male. I don't know if that's a correlation or not. He's still good with me, but I see him every day, multiple times a day. I spend a lot of time with him. He also knows it's going to end very badly if you boop me. I'm going to not boop you back, but I'm going to flip you, because he did that once before, and once I had flipped him, he did stop. But he just has a thing for Dean, so Dean can't safely really come into the field without being hyper aware of where Zebra is, because Zebra can hit him, which really limits the fun of being in the field. It makes me feel really bad if I have a project that I could, make go a lot faster if I had Dean's help. It just is hard. Now, can I lock up Zebra and keep him isolated for those times where I need Dean in the field to help me? Yes, I can. Can I lock up Zebra from, the public if I have someone over, like a friend or anything? Yes, I can. However, where he has shown this tendency, whether or not it'll ever come to me, where he is intimidated by me at this point still. Who knows? But they can go through fences, you know, and also the idea of locking him up kind of in a way instills a false security. You know, if you go in there the assumption that, you know, it's safe to be in the field because Zebra's always locked up, and then one day he had got out through a fence, through a hole, a tree came down in a part and you didn't notice, and you're not aware or looking for him, and then some serious damage can happen. So that is a big problem here right now that we're facing. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore Zebra. He's a homegrown ram. I think he's fantastic. He throws the most beautiful babies. He's a true testament to the line that he comes from. I'm very pleased with what he's done. So the problem is now, I've made the decision, he can't stay. And so like that didn't come easily. You know, there's a lot of thought into it, a lot of deliberation, a lot of, you know, trying some different things, and overall for the safety of Dean and, you know, potentially other people who may go into the field. You know, it just, because you just don't know. I'm safe, but I'm not always going to be the only one to come in. We have an event coming in October in which I kind of need a farm sitter for a day. And with a Zebra, you know, I can't because of what he could do to whoever I get to do that. So we've made the hard decision that Zebra has to go. Now, the problem with that is also the fact that nobody wants a bad ram. And in good conscience, I can't part him out without, you know, them being very clear of what he's doing currently and why he can't stay, which is, you know, his interest in booping Dean aggressively. You know, and sometimes people, you know, have the best of intentions and maybe like, you know, I fully understand, you know, I'll work with him, I'll be respectful of him. You know, and while that may be true, like there's a sense of, you know, not doubt. I'm sure they would try, but at the same time, you really want to mitigate that risk of, you know, they could do everything right, they could try so many things, and then he just gets them really hard in a bad spot or a bad fall from a hit, and then they're seriously injured. So animals, you know, we always have to be aware of, you know, how powerful they are, and, you know, you have one life. So, you know, you have to make sure that you do kind of think of those dangers. So I can't actually part him out to continue doing a job as a ram to someone else because of what he's been doing here to Dean. So the other option, basically, the only option left for him, is to sell him to someone to eat, or us eat him. And so in my mind, you know, here I know how he's being treated. He's loved. He's having a great time. He is with other sheep every day. He is happy. He is excited. He gets lots of scratches from me, and pets and attention and love and kind words and stuff. I much prefer to have him have that life versus send him somewhere where he may not get that. Maybe he's locked in a tiny spot because he is a risk, you know, and then he's unhappy, and then he goes to be, you know, substance for someone's family and friends. So I thought, you know, instead of sacrificing, you know, my feelings, you know, and his happiness potentially, we are actually going to keep him here. I'm hoping to catch another round of heat with the sheep with him before we let him go. But this fall, we will be saying goodbye to Zebra. So we will have sheep available if that is something you want to try. And I know, like, everyone's first impressions is going to be not great with this story. It's, you know, how could you eat something you raised as a pet or you loved, and you know, and I totally get all of those thoughts. It's very easy with today's society to forget where food comes from. And when we forget where food comes from, we forget, how these animals are living in like commercial settings. Specifically our pigs, of how they live, or are aggressively hatched, whatever. There's always good places, not lumping them all in the same one. There's good places, there's bad places, and it's just basically how you want your animal to live. For me, I think I'm going to be proud where I raised him. I know how he was raised. He was happy. He had tons of space, tons of outdoors, and he had a good, happy, healthy life. I also know what he ate. So I am going to be comfortable in knowing what I'm eating. I can give it to friends and whatnot. So overall, the decision was not made lightly. And I know it's going to be hard to read that we loved this animal so much and now we're going to eat him. I just hope that everyone will keep in mind, really at this point for poor little Zebra, Dean's got to go or Zebra's got to go. And if Zebra's got to go, because we're not getting rid of Dean, not just yet, but Zebra 100% has to go. And Zebra's, his kind of fate is limited to that one option, basically. He's going to be food. I did look at potentially finding him a new place, but, the risk is there. And then if they, so we can't do that. So basically, Zebra's only option really is he's either going to feed us and potentially you guys, or he's going to feed some other family. So unfortunately, I'm going to put this video as a topic of when things go wrong on the homestead. None of us want this outcome, ideally, and I've racked my brain about how to kind of make everything work, make everyone happy, mitigate all of the risks that could potentially come up, and it's just, it would be an ongoing stress, and a lot of factors basically would domino from that, which is not fair to anyone involved. So we made the tough decision, and I definitely hope that you as my viewers and Dean's viewers, can kind of understand it was kind of an unavoidable, it's going to be an unavoidable end for Zebra at this point. It can't be avoided, so it's basically the best of any world is which he's going to feed us, and potentially you guys if you want some, homegrown meat, of course. And then if you can't understand, where we are, hopefully you will, take a pause and realize how much we do love animals here and how much we do go above and beyond for the ones that we have that are a risk to other people. We do have a few of those here. However, the danger that they present is significantly less than Zebra. So I hope you can take that kind of into your mind and maybe give you a little bit of pause and maybe even make you think about where your food comes from. Especially now where it's getting questionable of whether or not your meat is real meat or grown in a factory. And this way I know what I'm eating, unfortunately, and we're gonna have fond memories and videos of Zebra, and we are going to be keeping some of his offspring, which also is part of a reason why, to move him along as well, because we will keep his daughters. So just to prevent some fatherly love from going that direction. So yeah, that's my update, which is, not what nobody really wants to hear. I didn't really want to give it, but, sometimes it's really important to show the transparency that you can do everything in your power. And sometimes things have outcomes that you're just bummed out about, and this is unfortunately one of them. Sometimes things don't work and you have to take safety first, and that's what we're doing here. So come fall, we will be saying, our parting wishes to Zebra, and we'll be thankful for what we get back from when we send him away. And, we are going to replace him, which sounds really bad. But we do have a line on another fin ram to take into our farm to replace him. And so we'll see. But yeah, that is an unfortunate update for today that I thought I would give, you know, and it sucks. So yeah, that is the downside of homesteading. You get attached, things don't go well, and sometimes you have to be bummed out.